Hey guys, welcome to the High Vibe channel. My name is Nell and I'm gonna be your astrologer. Today we're talking about Taurus risings. Let's get into it, okay? So, the little blurb that I'm giving at the beginning is why rising signs. This is the third series on this channel. We've already done the sun signs, we've already done the moon signs. So if you're curious to learn more about your sun or moon, or sun and moon of a celebrity or of a loved one, go ahead and check those videos out. They've gotten really great reviews, and so I want to make sure that I'm continuing on that same path of giving you guys what you want to see. So we're doing rising signs. Now, Taurus rising, why rising signs? First of all, what is a rising sign? The rising sign is where the sun was rising upon your time of birth. A zodiac wheel is nothing but a snapshot of the sky upon your time of birth. It talks about the energies that were at play upon your inception or your welcome into this world, and it gives us insight into the energies that are available to you. Now, it's like a clock or a map. So it's not exactly, how do I want to put it? I like to liken it to a map because, of course, on a map, you know where all the landmarks are. You know, the highway's right there. So traffic's going to be kind of crazy over there. So you might not want to ride your bike in that direction. You get what I'm trying to say? But that doesn't mean you can't. That doesn't mean that you won't. It doesn't mean that you won't ride your bike over there and be safe. It just means, it might be a little dangerous over there. You might want to get in a car if you're going to take that mode of transport. Just best practice, you feel me? But ultimately, regardless of what your chart says, free will is what will rule your experience here on Earth in this lifetime. Because I always get the question about like twins or, how am I different than my twin? It's because you're a whole different person. Like, are you really gonna sit here and argue that with me? So y'all do everything alike? All right then. So with the the logic behind the chart is, it just talks about what's available. But ultimately, the discussion that we're having is really one of nature versus nurture, right? So, all right, this is what you have available to you. This is, what was hot or what the high times were when you were born. So it might influence parts of your personality, parts of your upbringing, how society was laid out, you know what I mean, in your formative years. But ultimately, the choices that you make really inform the trajectory of your life. But astrologers can help you to read that map or read that clock and help you understand what direction to go in and what time it is, my baby. Okay. All right. So we're going to get right on into Taurus. And for these videos, I'm trying to keep them short, 20 minutes, because I don't want to bore nobody. And I'm trying to get them all done. So with that being said, I'm not going to go into every single house. But what I will do is show you guys this chart and kind of talk a little bit about it. So natal chart wheel is a circle, 360 degrees. It's split up into 12 different sectors. These sectors are called houses. Each house is ruled by a sign. Okay, each of the houses takes up 30 degrees of that chart, or of the chart in its totality. So essentially everybody has every sign in their chart, but based on where the rising is, that changes things, that changes the orientation of your chart. And then where planets fall will change the energies that are available. The planets might fall far apart from each other, really, really close to each other. That all affects the synthesis, right? The harmonization of these energies in your chart. And then again, based on free will, you can work with these energies or against these energies to create whatever reality you wish to experience. So with that being said, well, maybe not whatever reality, depends on a lot, but we're going to go into it. So I'm just going to cover the most influential aspects, or the most influential angles, in your chart, which is going to be the first, which is your first house, which is personality. The fourth house, which is like mothering, self-nurturance, and it's really, how would I describe fourth house? Early life, which informs, like, it lays the foundation for the rest of your life. Seventh house, which is your relationships, your business partnerships, so on and so forth. And then your 10th house, which is public reputation and what people see, right, of everything else that we just discussed. So for the Taurus rising, of course, your first house is in none other than Taurus. What that means to me, and I have my notes, but I like to intuitively give y'all whatever God has given me to give to y'all first. So what that means to me is, you guys, first of all, are of the fixed modality, meaning first, fourth, seventh, and 10th house are all going to be in fixed signs. That's important because modality really does tell you a lot about how a person's energy moves and is transferred and is like exhibited throughout this life. Y'all all have heard, I'm sure, that Tauruses can be some of the most stubborn in the zodiac. Excuse me, I need to take a sip. Libations, libations. All right. Taurus is stubborn. Why? All the fixed signs can be stubborn. Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio, Leo can all be very stubborn. They have their outlook on the world, they have the outlook on themselves, and they like for things to stay where the fuck they put them. Period. They tend to be more in touch with their physicality. And even if they are not super actually in touch, they're going to comfort their physicality so that they can be comfortable. That's really what it's all about. It takes a really disciplined Taurus to go the other way and like be really obsessed about their self-care and making sure that they're actually taking care, because it's so much easier to just be content and tend to the needs of our five senses and do with that what you will. Get up, wash, rinse, and repeat for the next day. So I say all that to say, Taurus rising people can be some of the most, I keep thinking grounded, but that's not the definition of what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is rooted. They can be rooted people, meaning they get into a routine in life or a mode in life and they stick to it. They don't like for much to come in and fuck up their flow, which makes them really good long-term planners. It makes them really, really, really good like gardeners and shit like that, because they like to control what's in their control, make sure that it feeds them, and they going to sleep. They don't really have to worry about too much else from that. You understand? But I do want to backtrack a little bit, because that's just like my opinion on Taurus rising individuals. But what I want to talk about is what the first house even means. That's like, we're talking about a person's personality here. We're talking about their disposition. We're talking about how people perceive them upon first glance at their life, first look. If someone were to write a book, like the outstanding characteristics of a person, who they introduce you to when you first meet them. And so they tend to be slower people. Like, they tend to talk slower. They take a long time to say what they're trying to say because they're not in any rush. They have the idea. All they have to do is convey it to you. Whereas my Gemini rising is like, I got the idea, but I got 10 ideas and I want to convey all of them to you. So one might come and then another might overlap and it'll make sense. And it's super smart. And like Taurus can make sense and be super smart too, but they like to just go slower. They want to hit each individual point diligently and deliberately to make sure they don't have to go over it again. Because do I really even want to be having this conversation with you, or am I made to have this conversation with you? Because a lot of times Taurus would rather just kind of stick to themselves, and they only do things out of utility for the most part. So with that being said, they're slow moving people. They tend to be more calm in their orientation. In my notes, I have grounded, sensual, and steadfast. So again, the sensuality comes in where it's like a lot of the things that the Taurus does is for self-sustainability. They want to be content. They want to be happy. They want to feel in control. They don't want to feel jolted or like anything's coming in to crash their party. They want to keep everything at a certain level. It's like they like to set the thermometer in their life and they set it how they like it, and they like to leave it that way. Relationships can be a little bit tougher for these people because it kind of got to be their way or the highway, or like high probability for the types of relationships where it's like, did y'all hear about Cheryl Lee Ralph, who was like, I have my life and I live alone and my husband has his own life and he lives alone. Like, that's very Taurus-y type of energy. So they have a high appreciation for the things in their life and the things that they bring in. They love for something to be symmetrical, beautiful. They could be the type of guy that has a standing haircut every Thursday. I don't give a fuck if it's a holiday or what. Like, my barber knows I'm coming. Okay. They could be the type to really deck out their houses, and like they might not look like super expensive people because they can put comfort above all else. But when it comes to like the things that they like if say a Taurus rising is really into technology, They might wear sweats every day, but you go in a house and they got smart refrigerators, they got motherfucking sensors, all of their shit is digital, and you know what I'm saying? Like, whoa, state of the art bathroom because they love self care and they want to go in there and look at themselves and look at all the shit that they've been able to amass for themselves and feel luxurious. Like, this is really them. A lot of people tend to say Taurus risings have outward beauty. I think that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. I don't try to get too much into that. I don't, this is no shade, but I don't think that Taurus risings have like typical beauty standards. They tend to be, I really can't describe it. I think that they are beautiful in a really earthy way. I don't know how else to describe the shit. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. It's not the typical beauty standard, but it is like a, I don't know. I think it's because they take such good care of themselves. Like regardless of what they look like. I mean, if they're on a good tangent, you know, because anybody on a bad tangent will lose their shine. But they're so self-consumed. They tend to make sure they take good care of themselves. They're also known for their patience, but that patience can turn into stubbornness really, really easily. Like if you're not on the same page with them, if you're not in agreement with them about what's going on, they tend to give more stubborn, and it'll be like, I'm not trying to fight you, I'm trying to help you, but you have to just kind of leave these people to their own devices and let them figure it out. Fourth house for a Taurus rising. Fourth house falls into Leo. Now, fourth house talks about how we were parented, the tools that we're given to parent ourselves, right? When we become adults, and how our psychology is shaped, the foundation of our mind. And so fourth house being in Leo, again, these people can be a little bit bratty. They can be a little bit their way or the highway with certain things. And so, excuse me, I gotta apply some lip gloss. Very Taurus rising of me. That lip is getting dry and I don't like that. Anyways, but yeah, they are Leo fourth houses. So they're used to being coddled by the mother. They're used to getting their way. They're used to things sort of revolving around them in the home. I've already read y'all for filth. Used to things revolving around them in the home. So it can be tough to be a housemate of a Taurus individual or a Taurus rising because they have a way that they like shit. If you don't follow what they have already set up for their life or for their routine or for their schedule or whatever it is, you know, don't go in there touching my soaps and my products. I'm gonna know if you touched my shit. Okay, actually, as a matter of fact, even if you put it exactly back where I had it, I'm gonna know you touched it because the weight is lighter than it was the last time I used it. How about the fuck that? They are looking, they are watching, they are very like, the Leo can be a little bit of a diva sometimes. And so yeah, in the home, in the mind of a Taurus rising, is their way or fuck y'all. Like, I will be out of here so fast. I will go where I am celebrated, not tolerated every time. And if it has to be in my own home, in my own, like, they're going to put themselves on the pedestal, on the highest pedestal, and be damned if anybody try to talk them out of it. So when it comes to, like, trying to get into the mind of a Taurus rising, you actually have to either vibrate on that exact same frequency or be so valuable to them that they regard you as like royalty, because that's what Leo rules over, is like high regard, royalty, the finer things in life. So if you can kind of speak to that part of their psychology and speak to, you know, talk them up a little bit, you can get in there. But the average person, like if you're not showing them enough respect, enough attention, what else do I have here? Yeah, you got to emphasize their pride, their creativity, and their self-expression. If you shun any of those things, you try to humble them, and you try to humble a Taurus rising and see what happens. See if they block your ass or not. Okay. Yeah, maintaining appearances in the early life. Early life could have been about maintaining appearances, or like I said, having things revolve around them to the point where, when things aren't perfect, when things aren't going the way that they need to go, when they're not able to have the materials that they're used to having, or you get what I'm saying, have the pull that they used to having, whether it be personally or even out in the world, the way that their mind works, they're turned off. Now they don't want to be in those spaces. They don't feel safe, because fourth house is about safety. They don't feel safe in those spaces if they can't maintain appearances. But they really do value family, because Leo is all about the heart center. So they really do value being the thing that everybody revolves around. Like, they want everybody together. They just need to make sure that when that happens, they're looked at in the proper light. And yeah, they resist chaos. They need things to be steady. If you're going to bring bullshit to their front door or disrupt their mind's status quo, you got to get on. All right. I told y'all this video, I'm going to try to make this 20 minutes. We got 5 minutes left. So let's get through the last two houses I'm going to talk about, which is 7th house of relationship. So Taurus rising have that 7th house in Scorpio. Ooh, it's a doozy. Again, getting into the psyche of this person is no small feat. They're very fixed. They don't need shit from you. They might want from you, but even with that, it's going to be tough for them to let down their guards and let down the barricades, because Scorpio is the investigator of the zodiac. To have that sign in your 7th house really speaks to trust issues. It does. It speaks to trust issues. It speaks to a level of needing to have like repetitive ego deaths in order to be able to get to the truth of things, and really setting your own sort of, how do I want to put this? I don't want to say setting your own shit aside, but that's what they have to do in order to mature. But in the beginning, they're attracted to super, super deep, intense, like, love affairs that absorb them. But that's not really what they need. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I'm already so, like, far gone into the psychology of the shit that I can already see the end game. Like, no, you need to separate to see, to be a Taurus rising. Like, any energy that's going to come in and encapsulate your whole life, you got to investigate that and make sure that that's going to be exactly what it is that you need. Because you're going to attract manipulators. Period. You're going to attract people who are going to show you everything you want to see in a partner. And you're prone with that Leo 4th house, your psychology, you're prone to the fast talkers. You're prone to be manipulated. It just is what it is. And so what do I have here? They prefer people who bring them depth. But in order for that to be safe, you have to be, have safely, explored your own depths. You have to have actually, done some work on yourself to be able to recognize when a person that's bringing you depth has done the work to be able to hold that, or if they're trying to be codependently attached to you, because that's what will happen. You're so, I'm sorry. You're actually so grounded, so uniquely in tune with you, that it's going to be like a moth to a flame when these people who are on that Scorpio tangent need that stability. They need the stability that you bring. So it makes you guys the perfect pair, but only if you're both healed. If one or both of you is unhealed, say you're unhealed and they're healed, that could be like a power dynamic. The Scorpio, a healed Scorpio and an unhealed Taurus, you're just an asshole. Like, you're not evolving at the same rate as this person. You're not grasping at the same rate. You're too complacent. They like to transform. It's going to be tumultuous. Say you're healed and they're unhealed. You're so stable. They're so unstable. You're gonna be mommy or daddy, and they're gonna be little baby that you have to like roll in, and you know what I mean. They're gonna sweep you off your feet just to let you the fuck down, and you'll have to go through that whole dynamic. So both people actually need to be so evolved for this partnership to work out that you just got to make sure you do that work yourself, and make sure that not only is Scorpio the energy that you attract, but it's also what you need. So you have to be that energy. You have to be the investigator. You have to, what does it say here? Like any struggles with trust, possessiveness, jealousy, you got to be the one to say, you know what? I might need to go get a therapist. I really love this person. I don't trust them because of my own reasons, or if it's that you don't trust them for their reasons, maybe you have to let them go, because that has to be a non-negotiable for a Taurus rising. You have to be able to trust your person, right? So figure that shit out. And relationships often involve profound emotional growth. You have to. Whether you end up with these people or not, you've got to make the leap in order to reach a healthy space for yourself. And we're almost at 20 minutes. So last house, 10th house is in Aquarius. I really like this. Now, 10th house is all about reputation. It's all about career growth, trajectory. It's about your standing in society, status quo, all of that. And so, how do I want to put this? This is where you look weird. This is where people don't understand. And it's such a conundrum because all the signs feed into one another. It's such a beautiful harmony that they have with one another to allow space for the sign that comes after and the sign that has come before, right? And so for Taurus risings to have Aquarius at the top of their chart means people look at you a little bit sideways sometimes. They don't understand you, okay? You have such a great relationship with yourself, with routine, with what you deem as, valuable to you, that seems off to the general public. Most people do things to fit into society, to reach a different standing in society, to become impressive to their parents, or, how do I want to put it? The expectation is clear. I don't give a fuck where you live. Here, China, Japan, Norway, I don't give a fuck where you live. You know what the societal expectation is. I will say that here in America, it's a little different, you know what I'm saying? So, like, being disciplined, knowing yourself is not a part of the expectation. The expectation is you work, or do whatever it is that you do. You go to school, however you're going to get yours, you get yours. You placate to other people. You pander to motherfuckers and do what's best for all of us. And it's not even really that, but y'all get where I'm going with that. It's not march to the beat of your own drum. That's not the status quo here where we live. And so, yeah, people see your stubbornness, your steadfastness, your connection to yourself, your connection to the earth. Like, what is this bitch on? What is she on? Then the Leo in your psychology is like, who does she think she is? Or he? What do they really think is going on here? And why do they think everything revolves around them? But very well, it does. My paperwork says it does. And so I'll read what I have, but I'm trying to tell you, it stems from that. It stems from the level of originality that you guys are able to have access to, or at least that's what it's perceived as, is originality. Like, you over there doing your own thing. And Taurus also tend to have a really good connection with technology. I think I talked about that. A lot of Taurus or Taurus risings that I know have decked out like technology in their homes, like regular ass shit. Like, why is your Ninja blender extra souped up to the point where it makes your smoothie for you every morning when you wake up? Like, it takes for you to come down and hit that last step and your smoothie machine starts working. What the fuck is actually going on here, right? But you guys are seen as innovative, forward-thinking, and unconventional in the career space. Because in order to be, I'm going to put it to you like this. In order to sit on your ass and collect the cash, sometimes you got to create automated systems to do what needs to be done in order to keep shit on a routine, in order to scale this business. Or maybe we not scaling. Maybe we doing just enough to make sure I keep my corner office. I don't even want to go up a notch. I don't want to be the director and have to have all the responsibility over you motherfuckers. I just want my systems to be in line. Another thing is Taurus risings often tend to be, I don't know why I'm hearing medical examiner. They tend to be in those roles where it might be one person who can do the job. Like, or maybe two people and they rotate shifts. But it's like, I'm never working when you're working. You're never working when I'm working. We don't step on each other's shit. I do my thing. I get in. I get out. Now, they can be very sociable people. That's another thing. Taurus are very social people. So it's not to say that they're just like super closed off and not associating with anyone. But the guy on The Office, not The Office, Parks and Rec, the one that seemed mean, but he really wasn't. He just didn't want to fuck with them on a personal level. But he had all types of hobbies. And he had friends out in the world. He just didn't want to make friends in his workplace. That's what Taurus rising is giving me. So you guys tend to be publicly admired for your ability to balance traditional ideas with means of technology. And the career focus that you typically take is of a humanitarian, very Aquarian type of vibe. Because I believe you guys are here to help not only ground us, but to help push us forward. Sometimes in order to get where you're going, you got to know where you are. You got to really be rooted, right? So thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Share it with someone who you think needs to know a little bit more about a Taurus rising, honey. And of course, if you would like a more in-depth breakdown of your individual chart, you want to talk about what, you know, your uh astrological makeup is, we can absolutely get into that. You just have to click the link below in order to get a private reading with me. Those readings are conducted over Zoom. And then I am thinking about expanding and doing a more in-depth video that would be maybe like an hour long, where we go through each of the houses in the Taurus rising wheel. That will more than likely be available on a separate platform. I'll make that announcement when that time comes, but just want to make sure that I'm here giving you guys the information that you really value and appreciate. So be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you liked or disliked about this video. I'm really good at taking feedback, and I love to hear from you guys. So appreciate you so much. You have been a part of the high vibe. All right, I'm Taurus rising. Y'all are also connected to music. Anyway, I digress. We'll get into that a little bit more later. I love y'all. Bye.